Hi, it's Miss Smith. I am going to be teaching you a lesson today that's called Physiographic Features of Africa. Basically, Africa is a huge, very diverse continent, and let me get myself straight on the screen. Um, and we are going to learn today about different features of Africa, um, mountains, rivers, lakes, landforms, deserts, bodies of water. We're going to be learning about physical features of Africa. But let's start with where we're going with this lesson. So this lesson is today's assignment, and then tomorrow's assignment is where you use what you've learned and you create something called a tourism poster. So in order for this lesson to work out well, you'll need a couple of things. You'll need something to write with. I just have a normal pencil. And you'll need something to write on because as I'm teaching, I'm kind of wanting you to jot down notes that are going to help you be successful on tomorrow's project, which is this tourism poster. Again, Miss Smith's going to take you through all of these different places in Africa. I'm going to go through the slideshow and talk to you about each one of the physical features that I see. And what you're supposed to be doing with this information is you're going to get to, I hope you can kind of read through this with me. Once you've learned everything, you're going to create a tourism poster. And it's going to advertise to people the geographic diversity of Africa. Imagine if you're in an airport and you see a poster up on the wall and it says, "Come visit Africa. These are all the really cool places that you could see." That's kind of what I'm looking for with tomorrow's assignment. So it has to have a big, bold title, a catchy slogan. You need 4 pictures of places in Africa that you think are good places to visit. And then you need 4 complete sentences that describe whatever picture you have drawn. So now that you know what's going to happen tomorrow, don't worry, I'll show you some student examples and I'll show you some really good characteristics of tourism posters that have gotten good grades in the past. Now that you know that, we're going to get our paper and pen ready because as Mrs. Smith takes you through the 18 different slides that are bodies of water and mountains and physical features and deserts, as I take you through, I need you to pick 4, only 4 places where if you see that, you go, "Oh, that looks like number 1, something I could draw. Number 2, somewhere that would be really cool to visit if I were to travel to Africa." And just kind of jot it down. As you're writing, I want you to make sure you're making sketch notes. Kind of sketch doesn't mean brilliant artistry. Sketch just kind of means the best you can do in terms of drawing. And then write down whatever information you have that's pertinent information. So let's get started. We start with the Sahel. The Sahel is a semi-arid band of grassland that is south from the Sahara Desert. If you look at this map right here, you can see the Sahara Desert. Do you see where my cursor is going? The Sahara Desert takes up a lot of the northern part of Africa. And just south of the Sahara Desert is this kind of orange band, and it's a semi-arid grassland. Now, for me, I don't think this is a place I would want to travel. In these images, I don't see buildings, hotels, I don't see roads or transportation. Semi-arid grassland is largely undeveloped except for occasional farms, and the people that farm there grow only the things that would grow naturally in this grassland. Let me take you next to the Ethiopian highlands. In the Horn of East Africa, in a country called Ethiopia, is a mountainous region called the Ethiopian highlands. And you can see how very cool these little huts are that are in the villages. You can see that there's valleys and there's mountains, and farmers are very, very good at terracing, which means they build their farms into the side of the mountain, kind of in a stair step pattern. And check out this guy right here. He looks like he's about to dive off, but actually he's got a backpack with a parachute on. They do something in the Ethiopian highlands that's called base jumping. It's like it's kind of like bungee jumping, but you pull the cord and your parachute comes out. And I don't know, you just hope you don't die. So I don't know if you're an adventurous person, maybe the Ethiopian highlands is a great place for you to visit. go base jumping off the side of a cliff. Next, we have Mount Kilimanjaro. Excuse me. Next, we have Mount Kilimanjaro, the tallest mountain in Africa. It's a mountain peak, which means even though it's on the equator, which is the hottest part of the earth, it's got snow on the top of it because it's so high up in elevation. Now, Mount Kilimanjaro is an inactive volcano. And if you were to go on a hike up Mount Kilimanjaro, it would take you between 5 and 7 days. So you'd have to camp on your way up to the top. And of course, it's very, very beautiful. And in my opinion, pretty easy to draw because it's flat, flat, flat savanna and landscape. And then boom, one tall peak that's mountain covered. So hike up to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro if that's what you wanted to put on your tourism poster. Next, we have Lake Victoria. I think it's very pretty to look at Lake Victoria at the shoreline. Lake Victoria, if you look on this satellite image, is actually the source of the Nile River. So the Nile River is the longest river in all of Africa, and the source, which is where it starts, is Lake Victoria. And Lake Victoria also is home to tons of animals, like the Lion King movie. Lion King animals would live on the shores of Lake Victoria because it provides a source of fresh water. Largest lake in all of Africa, Lake Victoria. It was named for a British queen whose name was Queen Victoria. Next, we've got the Nile River. And I already kind of said this a little bit earlier. The Nile River is the longest river in all of Africa. And on this satellite image, do you see how Lake Victoria has been kind of cut off, but how it kind of snakes through the Sahara Desert, and then it lets out in a huge port city that's called Cairo in Egypt. I think it looks beautiful where the water meets the shore and these beautiful palm trees. And you could take a sailboat and sail along the Nile River. I think it looks very pretty. Picturesque is the word that I would use to describe. Next is the Congo Basin and the Congo rainforest. So the Congo River kind of, you can see lush, thick, dense green jungles. And then you can see how the Congo River kind of cuts through it and it kind of goes back and forth and back and forth. The Congo Basin, the Congo rainforest, and the Congo River are both in Central Africa. And the reason that I put this image on the bottom on the right-hand side, the reason I added that image is that it's the only remaining habitat of the very close to extinct, endangered is the word, silverback gorilla. They live in the jungles of the Congo Basin. Basin and rainforest are the same words. Next, we have the Kalahari Desert. The Kalahari Desert is actually a smaller desert, and it's in the southern part of the continent of Africa. And the Kalahari Desert, in my opinion, looks like a cartoon version of a desert because it has sand dunes that move and shift with the wind. But you notice the bright burnt orange kind of tan color. That's what reminds me of like a cartoon version of the Kalahari Desert. So if I thought to myself, Kalahari Desert, that looks pretty easy to draw, and I could draw some sand dunes on my notes, and then I could say, oh, the Kalahari Desert, of course, it's so hot. You would have to have a camel to get you around. You would have to pack extra water, wear appropriate clothing, but maybe a tour of the Kalahari Desert's in the cards for you on your tourism poster. Next, we have a river called the Niger River. And I suppose the Niger River is like a fisherman's paradise. Like, look at the water. It kind of looks murky and a little bit dirty. Maybe that's not where we want to put on our swimsuit and go sunbathe on the coast, but maybe if we were going to hop into a boat and go fishing, the Niger River would be a really great place to go. The Niger River is in Western Africa, and if you can see here, it kind of starts in a country called Guinea, and it goes in a curve through the countries of Mali, Niger, Nigeria, and then it kind of lets out into the Atlantic Ocean. Again, fisherman's paradise, not so much a place where you'd want to go swimming, though. Look at that kind of dark, murky water. Next, we have the Sahara Desert, and the Sahara Desert is Largely undeveloped, no homes, no cities. The only place that you could live in the Sahara Desert is in an oasis, which is a part of the desert where there's vegetation and fresh water. The people that take others on tours in the Sahara Desert, tour guides would take them on caravans of camels because camels are the ships of the desert. But a lot of what the Sahara Desert looks like is this right here. It's barren. There's not any kind of vegetation. There's not a lot of wildlife, definitely not a lot of human development. And the Sahara Desert is maybe a place where you'd want to visit, but definitely not somewhere you'd want to stay. The Indian Ocean, just kind of look at how beautiful some of these coastlines are. The Indian Ocean is off of the eastern shore of Africa, and it's in between Africa, India, and Australia. And then the Great Rift Valley, which you're looking at, is a satellite image of Africa. And here's Lake Victoria, the source of the Nile, and then the Nile River kind of snakes up. I know that it says Great Rift Valley, like as in one single valley, but the Great Rift Valley is actually a whole bunch of different valleys that are all kind of in a row along the continent because it's where the tectonic plates of the earth are slowly pulling apart. And so the Great Rift Valley goes from right here, what's called the Red Sea, down through Lake Victoria. And it's just a series of different valleys that go along the continent, along the edge of a tectonic border, where the border of the tectonic plates are slowly pulling apart. I mean, very, very slowly. If you are good at drawing any animal that you would see in the Disney Lion King movie, Serengeti Plains is what you want to have on your tourism poster. The Serengeti Plains is there's a national park called the Serengeti National Park, but it's in the climate zone that's called Savannah. And it's where fresh water is available. They've got a rainy season and a dry season. And it's where all of the lions and hyenas, the antelope, the giraffes, the elephants, all of those traditional African wildlife, that's where they would live. Madagascar is this really cool place, not just because it's a movie, but because it's its own standalone island, and its capital is Antananarivo, and you can see how cool these little villages look. I don't know, maybe that looks like a place that you want to visit, even if only to say, I've been to Madagascar, which is where they they didn't make the movie in Madagascar, but there's a movie called Madagascar. The Atlantic Ocean, you can see the shoreline right here, and you can see that it's kind of rocky. The waves are very choppy. There's riptides that can pull people back into the ocean. So not really a good place for swimming or surfing or bodyboarding, but definitely a beautiful place to go and just look and see the places, see the coastline. The Atlantic Ocean is off of the western coast of Africa, and it is in between Africa and South America. Two more. We've got the Mediterranean Sea. Now, if Mrs. Smith were traveling to Africa, this is where I would be. I would be along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea because look at how beautiful that teal blue, crystal clear water is. If I wanted to go sailing, I could sail. If I wanted to swim, I could swim. If I wanted to stay in a hotel where I open up the front doors of my hotel and I see a beautiful coastline, that's where it would be, on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. Last but not least, we've got the Red Sea, and the Red Sea is mainly for huge ships that are transporting things from one side of the world to the other. So the Red Sea is in between Asia and Africa, and it's this long, narrow strip of sea, and you can see that all the boats that are alongside it, a lot of the boats that are carrying goods from one side of the world to the other will use the Red Sea as a little cut through almost. All right. Hopefully, with all of that information, you've got some stuff written down on your paper and you've got an idea of 4 different places. So let me show you where you're going with this information tomorrow. You've got to have a big, bold title, a catchy slogan, 4 pictures of places in Africa and 1 sentence that goes with each place in Africa. So if you said, here's the Congo Basin that I'm drawing, you would say, the Congo Basin is the last place in the world to see the endangered silverback gorillas. And that would be like your complete sentence that describes the picture that you made. So let me show you some examples of tourism posters. What I like about this one, even though it says Mexico, and I know your assignment's about Africa, I like that the title is bold and brightly colored, and it's boom, right there in your face, right in the middle. What I like about this one is that it kind of looks like a postcard. And so the postcard, this one's about Australia. Nothing like sailing through a postcard, nothing like Australia. But the picture takes the focus in the middle, and then the border kind of looks like something else. This one's pretty cool because I've had some very creative people who want to use the outline of the continent of Africa as the outline of their tourism poster. So this is kind of what it looks like if you were going to be making a poster about India, because that's the outline of the country of India. And then this one's kind of cool. This is obviously about like Papua New Guinea and places that are over in Oceania. But what I like about it is how it's got a very specific top and a bottom. And then some of the pictures kind of fade through. Like this guy kind of bleeds onto the top, and this kind of bleeds onto the bottom. This one's really cool because it's using shapes as patterns throughout the whole poster. And then last but not least, we don't have to be like overthinking this. If you have to have 4 pictures, just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and boom, you got it under control. So I like this one for it's advertising Ontario, which is in Canada, but I like that they have 4 pictures and they're just all in a row. Now, I've shown you some like examples that are digital examples of tourism posters, but here's some good student examples as well. So these are just kids last year who did theirs, and I just scanned them in. So I hope that they all kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. You can kind of see that this young lady put 4 pictures in, and each picture has a complete sentence describing. This one's kind of cool because it's made to, I wonder if I can make it smaller so you can kind of see it. It's made to look like there's a postcard, kind of like she has put the frame around the pictures. Oh, I loved this one. It kind of used bubbles, and then it kind of went out like a starburst, but it's still got the 4 pictures. The best place to get away. Pretty good. Oh, you gotta turn your head like this to see it. But this one right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, all in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the title was Let's Visit Africa. This one was really cool. The tree takes center, and then Africa, you will never want to leave. And then it almost looks like a scrapbook. Pictures that were taken, and then put around the edge. And this person used a ruler and made all of the information diagonal. I thought that was very creative. And oops, we got to turn our head again. It says Africa down the side. You won't want to leave, but there's still 4 pictures and 4 explanations. So now we've got where we're going with this information. So I hope that was very clear. Watch the lesson today, kind of jot down some things that are just notes on your piece of paper. Tomorrow, create the actual poster that Miss Smith is going to look at and grade. When I'm grading, I'm going to have my little checklist. Do you have a big, bold title? Most people say Africa. Do you have a catchy slogan? A slogan is kind of like where you say, come visit, or you won't want to leave, or the greatest destination in the world. It's kind of like a little saying. You need 4 pictures, and each one of your pictures has to have a complete sentence that goes with it. Completed on a blank sheet of paper, computer paper, fully colored pencils or markers are up to you, and then add your own individual and creative touches. The tourism poster is the assignment you're doing tomorrow, and that's what's going in the grade book. Ask Mrs. Smith if you have any questions, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.